chat wanted to make a list of all the things that we think are basically making the game bad, things that we want to be changed, and basically just get it on paper. So this is basically TLDR, list of things we want changed, right? TLDR. Let's start with the very basics, right? Cheaters, boosters, right? Sound, right? Engine mechanics, right? Consistency, right? These are the big ones. The ones that like break the game, right? Really bad. Wait, let me do this. There we go. All right, that should put some there. Stream sniping, we can also put that here. Right? Good. I think these are like the very obvious, very simple issues that are kind of categorized as like these make the game unplayable, right? You can also put mouse and keyboard on console. This again doesn't affect me. I don't give a shit about it, but I know that a lot of console people do. If you buy a console, you should be on a controller. That's how life works. If you buy a car, you have wheels. You don't have a fucking jet engine, right? That's how it works. Right. Then we narrow it down, right? Engine mechanics. Bullet holes. First of all, biggest bullshit of the game probably, right? Bullet holes. One-shot headshot through two walls, barricades, any distance, right? Any gun. This to me is a huge issue because it is never about skill. If you know where someone is, you can wallbang them before they can move reliably with an attacker gun, or you can aim for the head if you know where they are. But getting random lucky wallbangs, hipfire and shit just breaks all fun. It's not fun, okay? Game engine. Limp penetration doesn't work. Now, this is a fact. The limp penetration... Is it B? I think it's B. This is a limp donger, not a limb. It doesn't work. I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't fucking work. It might work if you go into a custom game, 1 versus 1, with nothing moving and nothing happening. But if you play a 5v5 online game with people moving and running around with 50 ping, limp penetration does not work. It doesn't. A lot of the time. Right? We gotta expand this engine mechanics here because there's a lot of things. Client-sided bullshit, right? We're gonna expand on this. Debris. So on a window, you no longer have like the barricades anymore. That's not the case. But the debris, like glass at the bottom of the window frame, for example. What is limb penetration? Limb penetration is penetrating a limb. If I have my hand like this and you shoot my hand, you hit my head. It penetrates the skin and kills me in the face. So if I stand like this in Siege and you shoot my hand, you one-shot me as a headshot. That's what limb penetration is. It's debris. This is like the biggest grammar. I'm a foreign. It doesn't make any sense to spell debris, right? It's debris, but whatever. I'm not trolling. I'm just stupid. Dead bodies. Now today on Bank, let's find the VOD, boys. Let's find the evidence to point out and not just shit talk the game for no reason. Let's find an actual clip of me dying to a client-sided body, because it's only fair to get comparisons of real-life scenarios that are occurring in the day-to-day basis. I want you guys to think about it this way. Let's imagine this is Invitational's Grand Finals. Imagine there is $2.7 million on the line, which is absurd when you say that out loud. Just imagine for a second, right? This is EG versus Penta, the comeback, it's match point, it's exciting, it is extremely intense, and there's the best players in the world on the stage for 2.7 million. Also, look at the shot I hit right here. Just look at it real quick. Destroyed. Literally deleted. Anyhow, you will very soon realize that after my very skillful outplay on the Ash rappelling upside down, that I get cheated. I get cheated by the game. Now, this is the example that we're looking at. Right? What I see is a bandit. A teammate who died in battle previously, which is very sad. He's laying here hanging out. He's chilling. You could say that he's sleeping on the work. That happens. How do I die? Just watch. Just watch this in 0.25 speed, right? I think he's main stairs. I'm like, oh, he's proning. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, main stairs again? No, wait. No, maybe not main stairs. Right? And you realize he is stuck. But where? Right? Right? You saw like his shoulder, like at the very edge of Bandit's dead body. Right? He's proning. Right? Look at his kill cam. On his screen, there is no Bandit because it's client-sided. And on my screen, if I shot the Bandit, the sledge wouldn't take damage because the dead body takes my bullets. If you use an ash charge on the floor and there's a dead body on someone else's screen on the floor, the ash charge will hit the dead body and it won't explode. Because when you hit someone in the chest, it does 50 damage flat and it goes phew. So if you shoot the floor for a barbed wire, for a shield, there's a client-sided body that you cannot see yourself but someone else can. It will not explode the shield of the barbed wire. The ash charge will hit the dead body, make a phew sound, and nothing happens. And you can not know where this body is because it's in 10 different positions because every single thing is client-sided. Everyone's dead bodies are slightly different, sometimes vastly different, right? So play it back. Look. He just peeks around the very edge of the dead bandit. But you can see that he clearly can see. He's not peeking nothing. For him, the bandit isn't there. Like, he can clearly, he's peeking it perfectly, you can argue. He clears the hard angle. He clears the angle here. Boom, cleared, right? Second angle, cleared. Then he flicks left. He clears the left-hand angle. He wide peeks. He gets me. And on my screen, he shoots a dead body. Which means I shouldn't die, because he doesn't hit me. This is something that can cost you, as I said, if $2.7 million was on the line, and this happened in the grand final, you know what would happen? You wouldn't get a rehost. You would just lose. You would outright lose the grand final, match point, 5th map, $2.7 million. You would just lose. And you can't do anything but hate yourself because you didn't know any better. And it's random, right? Thankfully, this just happened in a random rank game that no one cares about. But the fact that I have to fear that there might be a guy proning in a dead body in every single gunfight I ever take in my life from now on, the fact that I have to fear that there is a chance of a random element with luck that can screw me over, that causes stress, Ubisoft. It causes me gray hairs and molding and balding. And that is not necessary. I don't want that. So that's really tough, right? That's tough. So dead bodies are massive issues. Debris, I mean, debris is annoying, but it doesn't get you fucked over that bad, right? There is scenarios where you maybe will miss a kill, but you won't die because of debris most often. That you wouldn't, right? How can you fix it? It's simple. Make it client-sided. Make bodies disappear after a certain period. Make bodies just fucking evaporate. I don't know, right? There are temporal unperfect solutions or imperfect solutions. Ideally, it should be server-sided, or they should disappear after a few seconds, or the ragdoll should never get stuck. Because the ragdoll should just bounce off the wall and lay flat on the floor. It shouldn't curve like an L or a U shape on top of the wall, blocking everything, right? So, there's that. Debris, dead bodies. Another thing that's been coming to my attention, actually, are drones and Maestro cams. During the Challenge League games and qualifiers, multiple players from, I think, what's it called? Dogeback? What was it? Doge something? He showed pictures on Twitter of a picture of the stream from Challenge League and his own video, right? And on the Pro League stream, there's a drone in the corner of border east stairs in the middle of his screen. And on his recording from the actual game, there wasn't a drone. Like, there literally wasn't a drone. It's not like the lighting was different. No, there wasn't a drone. Same with Maestro Cam. There was an example on Villa where there's a Maestro Cam on the bump. And the guy, on his point of view, didn't see a Maestro Cam. But on the Pro League stream, there was a Maestro Cam. And it's the same with bulletproofs and Maestro Cams and default cams. Sometimes they don't light up when they're being watched. We were screaming Easy Dream a few months ago, I think, on Consulate. And they have like the bulletproof in Baguette, we call it. So if this is CO windows, you have the wall, you have the default cams here. There's this bulletproof you put right here that watches long disc, right? And we're standing here, holding this angle, pushing up the long disc. All right, guys, they're not watching the cam. It's fucking free. We get obliterated. We get slam dunked in 5 seconds. And we asked them, guys, were you holding the bulletproof? And they said, yes, the entire time. But there wasn't any light like it's supposed to. And it wasn't LOD distance because we all play with the high setting and we have ACOGs looking at it, right? It's not a big deal. And there's another thing. Sometimes your own drones are blue in the prep phase, even if they don't have a Mozzie. You'll spawn with 5 drones on attack, and you'll look at your teammate's drone outside the building, and it's fucking blue. Like it was Mozzie captured. Not white for Vigil or anything like that. It's blue. And, like, what? Like, I understand that if the Mozzie gets captured the drone is blue. But how does... They don't even have a Mozzie. It's not like they have him and coding got fucked up. No, they don't even have... It's banned. And it still happens. That shouldn't happen, right? Ever. And it's been happening since Mozzie came out. It's not a new bug. It's not an old bug. Well, it is an old bug. It's a consistent bug, right? It's super common, arguably. So whenever you think someone's not holding a camera, you have to think to yourself, am I outplaying the opponent or am I outplaying myself by trusting the game? And these are the biggest issues with the game. Because you should always trust your senses. Your sound, your seeing, and your smelling. Now, we can't smell much in Siege. And I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. But we can't trust what we see anymore. And we certainly can't trust what we hear. And that leads to people playing monkey playstyle. Because now you're forced to dry peek everything. Because sound doesn't work. And you can't trust your aim. So you just gotta keep jiggle peeking shit. Because what else can you do? Right? Another issue are smoke grenades. Right? Specifically defense. Because ever since... Oh, that's right. Ever since the beta of the game 5 years ago, you have been able to glitch smoke grenades through unpenetrable walls. Not just reinforcements. No. Actual map design. And they're client-sided. You can plant in a smoke without taking damage, but the second you start moving, you take damage. So the best example is there's one on Border, which I think they might have fixed it, but I'm actually not sure if they have. So I don't use these glitches myself. I'm very much against them. That's why I don't play smoke on certain strats, because I refuse to glitch abuse. Because I'm like above that. Ego, I guess. And this is small box on Border. You have hard wall and a soft wall, right? This is Amaru breach. If you throw a smoke canister in this corner with the wall reinforced, you will do damage in this entire area. Now, this wall is just reinforced. You could argue that, oh, the smoke travels through the hole, you know, whatever realistic bullshit you want to sell me with your fucking tinfoil hat. You're wrong. It's a glitch, right? The best example, however, is Coastline. And it's very common. This is long desk on hookah defense, right? This is the bump. You throw a smoke grenade right here, it will damage people in Aqua Bar and the default plant. And it's not even a reinforceable, it's a non-destructible, massive pillar of an object. That's about this fucking thick, right? Thick. And if you throw a smoke right in this corner, you'll kill the default planter, the aqua bar, and the guy covering. Through the wall. And pro players do this all the time. And it's disgusting that they do it. And what's even more disgusting is that Ubisoft and ESL aren't regulating these rules. Because I'm going to be quite honest with you. You can't on accident smoke this corner because there's no reason to. So if a pro player were to do it, you should take your fucking wallet and say, I'm gonna take your money now. I'm gonna fine your ass $1,000 for every single time you fucking use this glitch. And pro players would stop because they need their money. They gotta pay rent, right? And it's ridiculous how abusable. It literally makes or breaks a bomb site sometimes. And this can be done in a lot of other areas that I won't discuss in case they're not known to the public. I don't want to dive to it any more than I already am. But let's put it this way, chat. You can do this on every single map and basically every single bomb site. Some are stronger than others. TLDR, this bug has been in the game for 5 years. And they said over a year ago, to my memory, that they're working on it. And I'm glad that they are. I really am. But it's been a year. Like, maybe we should cut down on other stuff, maybe, if we can't fix this, because the foundation is important. If the base principles of physics don't work, imagine this. Imagine this. My hand is a table. This bottle is a bottle. It makes half sense and half doesn't, right? Let's say that you live in reality number one. Reality number one, you put bottle on the table, it stays. Every single time you put it on, it stays. Just like our current world. That's how the physics in our dimension works and how life happens, right? Number two example. In this world, there is a 50% chance that whatever object you put on another object falls through it and hits the floor and breaks. Right? Imagine you live in a world where whatever you put on something else has a chance of just simply falling through, breaking laws of physics, and shattering the floor below, and it destroys. That's what Siege is. You have no consistency. One day sounds great, one day sounds bad, one day it all works, sometimes it doesn't. Imagine living in a world where you never know for certain that the glass that is full of water or green Hulk juice, it falls through and destroys something below it. How can you live in that world without having constant fear? Every single thing you put, every single precious item, your wedding ring, your glasses, your remote for your TV, your vibrator for your butthole, whenever you put it somewhere, there's a chance it will fall through the fucking floor and just disappear. How could you ever feel safe? How could you ever feel like what you did would make sense? Because no matter what, it's out of your control. You can go a day where every single cup you put on the table, it sits perfectly without challenge. And then there are some days where no matter how many times you try, the cup doesn't want to stay and it keeps breaking and it keeps, like, your entire floor is soaking wet now. Right? Imagine. That's literally what Siege is to me. And that's why it hurts so much to play the game, because I literally do it for a living. Not only for entertainment, for streaming, which I'm not very good at my job because I'm bothered by the game so my mood isn't great. But on a professional level, for playing multi-million-dollar tournaments, my performance doesn't matter. What matters is how lucky I get or my opponent gets. Who gets the most bugs? Who gets f***ed the most? When you rappel in a window and you punch, it makes no sound. That's a free kill. Then you're playing 4v5 off a bug. That snowballs. It creates tilt, chaos, inconsistency, and lack of skill and discipline. And we're no longer playing for 25 grand for an empty audience, because trust me, I've been there. I won the first tournament in Siege. I have a trophy right there. With no audience. No one gave a shit. Back in year one, the very first tournament, there was a bug with Sledge. If you took Sledge and used this gadget, the entire server would freeze for like 5 seconds. So you take Sledge, you and nothing happened. Like, whatever you sledged wouldn't destroy, but everyone would freeze. That was the Pro League Finals for $25,000 5 years ago. At the first ever tournament of Siege on LAN. What did we do? We literally just said to the enemy team, if you play Sledge, don't use your gadget. Now, this was kind of problematic because Sledge was like always played. And now you could no longer play him. And that was like the beginning of Siege's issues. When Hibana came out, I don't know if you guys remember this, but it kind of worked like my philosophy with the bottle on the table. There was a very high chance that when you use your Hibana pellets, that either 1, the server crashed, 2, they wouldn't destroy anything, or 3, they wouldn't blow up at all. They just wouldn't blow. Like, she was so broken for like a year straight, and it caused like 7 rehosts in a single Pro League game Bristol one time. I think Milos was casting it, I remember. And they basically casted the same game for like 3 hours. Because every single round, they would Hibana the hatch and the server would crash. Goga said, remember year 2 season 1 finals went to play online? Yeah. So as Goga was saying, in Poland, in year 2 season 1 in the Katowice, we actually had to play on the online version of Siege. So we went onto stage and downloaded Steam, and we downloaded Uplay, and we installed the game, and we played Siege on 60 ping or 30 ping, 40 ping. And I can prove this with a video as well. And also, the reasoning for that was because on low ping, the game would break. If you had less than 10 ping, Ash charges wouldn't explode, Hibanas wouldn't explode. Like, the game just didn't work on low ping. So we literally were told, after arriving, and so first of all, we beta tested the live build the day before the finals. First of all. Second of all, we were told to play online at that tournament. Is this the right one? This is not Katowice. This is... Oh, wait. This is... Wait, what? This is Season 1 Finals. I don't know... Oh, yeah, Katowice. Oh, it is Katowice. No mind. And basically, if there's a scope, I believe it was this one. Because it wasn't game scope. It is this one. It should be this one. Yeah, look. We played Pro League Finals on 60 ping in fucking Poland. Normally, when you play LAN, you want to see between 3 and 9 ping. That's generally what you want to look at. We played online with 60 ping. Because the LAN build that they made, they hadn't beta tested themselves. So they made us beta test it the night before. Obviously, again, these things that I'm listing are issues that happened 5 years ago. But the point that I'm making is that Siege has kind of been this way from the very beginning. When it comes to inconsistencies and the game kind of breaking down and having a lot of issues. And that's why a lot of pro players are extremely frustrated, because it's been 5 years and we haven't really gotten anywhere. We are still running into the same exact issues, and more, arguably. As the game grows and the money grows and everything grows, the issues are more impactful. And it becomes more and more ridiculous to be a victim to these things. And that's essentially what the outrage is from. Like, that's why we're pissed. They tested it in Montreal, but not in Poland, but yeah. Yeah, but if they tested it in Montreal, but not Poland, like, why wouldn't it work then? Like, what's the difference? The issue that we had with this build was that anything under 10 ping broke the game. So clearly, something went wrong during testing, right? Because that should have been figured out. They clearly didn't test it properly. All I'm saying. Again, these things just shouldn't happen. They generally shouldn't happen. But again, this is an issue that is understandable. The game was in a very young age. They didn't have much experience. Nobody really knew what they were doing, nor us or them. Like, we were all completely amateur to this, right? And these issues don't happen anymore. Like, our LAN clients nowadays, they work. They work. But they're different than the real game. The recoil is different. Some glitch spots are different. Some boost elevation spots are different. Like, so online, if you reinforce a wall how do I draw this? You know, you're reinforcing a wall. If the wall goes above your head and they shoot your head, you don't die because the reinforcement blocks the bullets. But on low ping on LAN, it wall bangs the reinforcement. So if you're reinforcing a wall mid-round and they wall bang it, you die. But online, you don't because ping, I guess. And that's like, those small things are still different from the LAN client than the online client. And we actually lost a round. I don't know if it was in a Pro League game on LAN or it was a scrim. But we had a strat where I had to reinforce a wall mid-round, which is normally not an issue because the reinforcement will block the bullets. But that round when I did it, I died. And I figured out that it doesn't work on LAN. And it's those small things that make your life hard, because we actually have a list. I think every team does. We have a list of things when you check if they work the same way. For example, remember when mirror windows could be put on a half wall? Where you can put, if you had a reinforced wall here and a soft wall here, you can put the mirror window in between them. That was a glitch for a short period of time, for like a few months. That would sometimes work on LAN and then sometimes not work on LAN. Like, it would work on LAN and then on LAN it wouldn't because they patched it or whatever without saying anything. So it wasn't like the same game. And we had strats that specifically involved this strat. I think it was Oregon like dining defense or some shit. I don't know, like this like way back. This like long time ago. Something like that. Anyway, we couldn't do the strat because we couldn't put the mirror window there because they changed it. So the 3 months of Pro League we played online was nowhere near the same strategical aspect as playing LAN right after 3 months. Now, what are the more simple issues that we're running into, right? Simple issues and accessibility. I think it's 2 S's, right? This is where it's like reticle color if you're triangle, like reflex, color if you're holo, right? You can also argue size, so customization, right? Colorblind mode. I mean, Junas, my old teammate, was colorblind. He literally couldn't see claymores. Junas can't see red. What color is the claymore, chat? The laser? It's red. And the funny thing is, I have another example for you guys. Another example, because we need to give examples for constructive criticism, and that's only fair. Now, what round did Junas get an interrogation? Let's see. I think my chat would know, because they always know this shit. What round did Junas get an interrogation? The second round? It was pretty early. Yeah, here. All right. So I'll tell you guys this story. I've said it before a long time ago. So what happens this round is historical. Junas made history. The first interrogation ever at a big event. Grand final, major. Look at that claymore. That's a foreshadowing. Remember that claymore. Junas does what Junas does best. He does the impossible, quite literally. With a little bit of luck. But the luck part is not what you would think that it was. The luck part is something else. And I'll come to that very soon. And Claymore's there. You see it. Everyone recognizes it. You see it. It covers about 70% of the staircase, I believe. You can sneak past it, I believe. What happens is that Junas kills the Thatcher, I believe. Yes? Right? Now, this is the part. Junas runs up. He doesn't see the Claymore. Like, he actually doesn't see the Claymore. And he doesn't kill it. And you'll see that later. And Junas goes past the Claymore without seeing it because he's colorblind. Right? He kills the second guy. Injures the third. Interrogates him. You know what the funny thing is? What happens is that Fabian wants to help Junas. Fabian died to the Claymore. Because Junas didn't call it out. And Fabian asked Junas, did you realize there was a Claymore on the main stage? He says, no, I'm colorblind. We literally got an interrogation for the first time ever in a major history because Junas luckily walked past the Claymore while being fucking colorblind. Imagine that. Like, literally, imagine that. That's insane, right? Fabian dies to it because he wanted to help Junas retake afterwards. Also, I deagled a blank, but it's kind of cool. Right? That's insane. Like, that's actually mental. So, colorblind mode, accessibility for people that are handicapped, that are different, that can't see, anything like that, right? The game doesn't have it. It generally doesn't. Lighting. Lighting in this game is terrible. And the best part is that they reworked the lighting like 4 times in 5 years. My current settings, I can see inside the building very consistently, very nicely. But if I'm playing border and I gotta peek anything that's not inside the building, I see nothing but the sun staring me back in my eyes. And I guess a nomad who's also very light in the armor color, I can't see anything. Like, I quite literally, either I turn down my brightness massively so I can't see anything inside dark corners, or I turn it up so I can see the dark corners, but I can't see anything outside. And it's different from every single map. Like, some maps are fine. Like, Coastline for me is actually fine. I have no issues on Coastline. I guess the lighting is different. I assume it is because it's, like, way older. But the lighting on certain maps, it's newer than Border, but yeah. The lighting on certain maps is really hard for me to manage. It does feel like it's different map to map to map to map to map. You know, the other thing is that a bug that we had in Siege, if you picked an operator, so this is before 6-pick existed, right? About 2 years ago or so, if you picked an operator in ranked and you spammed Alt-Enter, listen, if you spammed Alt-Enter going from window mode to full screen, not only would you see the entire enemy's lineup, but you could also change your operator with an unlimited 6-pick. You could pick Caveira, spam Alt-Enter, then pick Tashanka. Then you can spam Alt-Enter, you can pick Jaeger. You could literally 6-pick infinitely as long as the game didn't load. Like, it was crazy. Like, that was a bug for a long time. People didn't know about it, like, until very late. But it was crazy. Another thing, and this is like a quality of life kind of thing. We also call it quality of life. Right? Quality of life. is six picking. This is only relevant to pro play or custom games and tournaments, but so what six picking is, first of all, is that in tournaments you have everyone picks their operator, and then you will see what the enemy picked. So if the enemy picked Jaeger, Valkyrie, Smoke, Omai, Goyo, you see that. And they saw that you picked Thermite, Thatcher, Zofia, Hibana, and Sledge. You both see each other's standoff. Both teams have one six pick. What that means is that any of those 5 players can hold down the left mouse button on a button, and one of those players can change from the current character that they're playing to any other character that's not banned. So you can change your Sledge into a Buck, or if you see that they have a Castle, then you will react 6-pick and 6-pick the Sledge to counter the Castle. If you see that they have no Bandit, or you have no Kite or Mute, then you 6-pick off the Thatcher. So both teams know what you're picking, and the 6-pick kind of brings the mind game. But let's say there's 1 second left, or 2 seconds left. It takes about 2.5, I think, seconds, maybe 2 seconds. Let's say 2 seconds to 6-pick. If you 6-pick, right, you successfully hold down the button, but the timer runs out. You don't 6-pick anything. You just keep the same operator. It doesn't go into like overtime. It doesn't give you like more time. You know how when you're planting in Siege at 0 seconds, there's overtime. It extends it forever until you successfully plant or stop planting. With 6-picking, it's like CSGO. If you plant with less than 4 seconds left, you lose the round. So whenever you 6-pick and you don't have enough time because you're doing it last second, you're just like, oh, stop. And it's really frustrating. And it's such a simple thing to change. And this happens more often than you'd think. So often when you see people 6-pick the same character that they already had, it's typically because they ran out of time, but they try to 6-pick. It's those small things that really change the game, right? So that's important. That's what we need. Give overtime. I'm gonna call it overtime. I think that's the best word for it. Oh, alpha, dude, alpha packs. Holy shit, dude. Let me tell you. Let's say this is year 1 of Siege. I just announced that I'm releasing alpha packs for Siege. There's a 2% flat chance of getting legendary for every single pack you open. You get a higher chance of getting a legendary. Which means at the worst case scenario, after opening 50 packs, you will guaranteed get a legendary. The crowd goes wild. Whoa! That's a great feature, right? But there's more. They won't duplicate because there's such a low chance. And then they duplicate and it sucks. And you get 4,500 renown. No one gives a shit. You can buy one more pack. Who cares? Right? The crowd goes wild again. Whoa! No duplicates. What the fuck? Why can we duplicate legendaries with such a low chance of getting them? Who made this system, dude? I opened 500 alpha packs on stream. It's on my YouTube channel. Check it out, right? I got 5 legendary duplicates out of 8. I got 3 new legendaries out of 8. And you know what the worst part was? The 3 that I got, they were so bad. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I can't call them bad because I just didn't like the color. I didn't like the opera that they had, right? And that's fine. But the 5 other ones that were duplicates, you know what the best part was? I got 3 for the same fucking gun. It's this shitty Alibi skin that looks like an alien skin with like rust on it that got left in a desert and then in water for 20 years. It looks terrible. And I got 3 of them in the same alpha pack opening. What the fuck? Does that make me want to buy more alpha packs? No. Am I gonna do it anyway? Yes. Because what if I get that one skin that I would really, really like to have? No duplicates. Higher chance to get higher, like legendaries, I guess, on every opening. Build up, right? I think Apex Legends has this feature already, but I could be wrong. Next thing, guys. Are you excited for this one? 20 health, deafening bullshit mechanic, right? When you are 21 health, your ears are like you were born new. You hear everything perfectly. You hear the trees, the wind, the birds. You hear the fish underneath the water. They go, right? when you have 20 health, right? When you have 20 health or less, you basically went to a rock concert every single day for the last 10 years straight. And you lost your entire hearing and you have tinnitus. It goes for about 15 solid seconds. And then you magically can hear again perfectly fine. But there's more. Because you're low on health, you lost the ability to see color. Because you got shot in your toe, you lost the ability to see colors. Now, this could be a thing like you're low on blood, you know, body's giving out, or some realistic bullshit. I don't give a shit. It's a goddamn video game. Why did I lose my sight and why did I lose my vision? This is not a realistic sim shooter. It's not a military simulation. We're whipping reinforcements out of our butt cheeks at the size of the fucking King Kong. But we can't see or hear when exactly 20 health. That's kind of fucked up, man. There's more. Drone spotting the bomb. This has been in the game for many, many years. Basically, what this is you're looking directly at the bomb in prep phase or mid-round, and the bomb doesn't want to get spotted. And to circumvent this bug, what you need to do is swap to your teammate's drone and then back to your old drone until you spot the bomb. Usually, if you do it 2 or 3 times, you typically spot the bomb. But again, what the fuck, man? Why can't I spot the bomb to begin with, right? Unable to spot bomb without switching to teammate and back. But there's more. Ela trap. Zofia concussion. Removing sound, sense, and seeing. Senses, right? Zofia concussions are not as bad as Ela traps because, one, they're traps. She has 3 of them, and they are unable to get countered. Zofia concussions get caught by ADSs, they get countered by 1-Mize, and to be fair with you, how they interact with a player is angle-based, right? If you have a wall, this is catwalk on Clubhouse chat, yes? You all know what that looks like. If you have a guy laying right here with an ADS here, right? Because the angle goes above the wall, it'll see the person before the ADS, meaning that if you try to Zofia charge this guy, the ADS won't stop it, which is good for the Jaeger because you typically in this position, when they're turtling down in a strong position, you want to nade them. How do you nade them? You clear the ADS. Can Zofia's stuns clear ADSs effectively? No, because they're angled based. And majority of the time what happens is that unless the ADS is significantly closer to the, if the ADS was like down here behind the corner, it would catch it midair, right? But because it isn't, it gets caught by the player. And that interaction is funky, but it's whatever. Ela traps, however, they don't work this way. Ela traps are very simple. You walk in a door, you can't play the fucking game anymore. You jump in a window, you can't play the game anymore. You walk anywhere on the map where they are in the creeks, in the ceiling, in the side, in the fucking bush woogie, in the plants, you can't play the game anymore. You can't see, you can't hear, and you can't move your fucking cursor. You can't flick, you can't fight, you basically just can't play the game. You're basically frost trapped, but you can still move. Just not the way you want to move, right? Now, is this an issue? Because there's people like Capcan, like Lesion, and those operators are trap operators too, like Frost, but they're not this overpowered. So why is this? It's pretty damn simple. Simple. Lesion traps can only be under a window, in a doorway, on the middle of a hallway for a choke point or a staircase, right? They are invisible, yes, but they can be found and seen, and most importantly, they can even get meleeed or dealt with. The range is very small. It is the size of the goo mine. The Capcan trap can only be on door frames or window frames. It can only be at 3 angle levels: head, crouch, prone, basically, right? I mean, it can have like 16 different heights, but like that's like the 3 major ones. So like when you walk in a hallway or staircase, you're not gonna get Capcan trapped. Frost trapped are even more limited. They can only be below a window on a staircase for an angle. I mean, they can be anywhere, but you're not gonna dive them unless you're Ela trapped and blind, I guess. Ela traps, as I said, you can literally destroy 1 layer of the floor and put it there. The range is massive. It's kind of like nomad traps. You can put the nomad so far away from the door, same with the Ela trap, that no matter how you peek it, you can't see it. And even if you drone out the Ela trap, 9 out of 10 times, you can't kill it. You would need an EMP, an explosive, a Twitch drone, or a teammate to, find an angle for it. Which means that if you're 1v1 against an Ela or a trap or anything like that, you're outplayed by an AI unit. But it gets worse. The AI unit, the trap, is put down in prep phase with very little thought process. How it goes, let's say you're playing consulate, right? You have yellow stairs, right? So we have yellow stairs going down. Then we have long desk, we have spiral, right? Then we have meeting door, we have meeting here with the windows, right? And we have connector. The round starts. You are playing Ela. What are you gonna do? Well, you put one trap Visa stairs, you put one trap yellow stairs, and one trap spiral. This takes you about 10 to 15 seconds. It takes you very, very little, if any, effort at all to put them down, to instantly find a very strong spot. Now, each of these traps will bring you incredible value. You know they can't find them. You know they can't kill them. So if the trap doesn't explode, that means it's clear. And if the trap does explode, it means they are there. Right? And you can put a trap on the Visa stairs the second the round starts. You spawn a connector. You run here. It takes 3 seconds, right? Right? That's an S. And 2 minutes go by. Your teammate is in a 2 versus 1 situation, right? Your teammate is basically in CEO, right? This is your teammate. Whee! And he's fighting a guy in yellow stairs. Right? 1 versus 1. You don't have any cameras left. You don't know where the last guy is. And all of a sudden, you hear an Ela trap pop. And he goes, oh, that must be Visa stairs. With this information, this guy knows that he has about 5 seconds to eliminate the guy on yellow stairs and enable the 1 versus 1 situation. The trap that you placed 2 minutes earlier with no pre-thoughts of any kind that this scenario would happen is winning you the entire round, or enabling the chance to win the entire round. Not by skill, not by planning, but just by RNG. It's not like this guy can drone the trap, walk up the stairs, kill the trap, and walk in. No. He has to go into the trap. And that's only if he even finds it. Most likely he wouldn't know there's a trap there. That's a huge issue. It's the same with Mozzie Spiders. Mozzie Spiders have a massive range. Why? No one knows. With a mute jammer, you know how you can figure out where the mute jammer is? You go to the left, you get mute jammed a little bit. You go to the right, you get mute jammed a lot. It's range based. The further you are away from the signal, the less strong the signal is, right? That makes really good sense. It's actually very logical. So if you have a mute jammer right here, this is the circle. And if you have a drone and you go here, okay, then you know for a fact the mute jammer isn't over here, because whenever you go left, you get less mute jammed. Whenever you go right, you get more mute jammed. When you go up, you get more mute jammed. So you can literally just pinpoint in your head exactly where the mute jammer is. And the mute jammer is a half sphere. It only goes up in a half circle. It doesn't go down. It does go to the side. So if you put a mute jammer on a table and you have a drone below it, you don't get mute jammed. But if you jump, you get mute jammed. If you're on the same level, you get mute jammed. So it's a half sphere. It only goes up to the side. A half circle, right? That's how mute jammers work. With a Mozzie drone, however, mute jammers go down. No, they don't. Mute jammers do, in fact, not go down. If you have a mute jammer on a desk and you have a phone call by Dokkaebi, the mute jammer will not stop you from getting wrong unless you climb the desk. With Mozzie Spiders, you can put a Mozzie Spider here, below, above, right? It could be in the building. You don't know. All you see is, oh, there's a marker. There's no direction indication. There's no like power limit. There's no like searching. There's no direction. There's nothing. It's either there or it's not there. You can't circumvent this issue without just saying, screw it, I'm gonna gamble that it's on the left. I'm gonna jump to the right. It's a complete gamble. And with a mute jammer, when you get hit by the mute jammer, you lose control of the drone. If the mute jammer is destroyed, you gain the control back. The enemy at no point in time gains control over the drone with the mute jammer, right? Correct? But with the Mozzie Spider, not only can you not know where it is, you also can't get around it most of the time. And third, you lose your drone and they get it. It doesn't just stop your drone from moving, they gain full control infinitely over it. You can hear Mozzie Spiders, yeah, but you can't pinpoint where they are. That's the issue. Like you hear that they're there, you don't know where they are, however. And more often than not, you probably don't have enough like silence to do it. Like if you're in a professional game and you got 4 guys talking and people shooting and someone is throwing a C4, you're not gonna hear where it is even if you could. If you have nothing going on and no one's shooting and you have the patience and the discipline to just sit there and spend 20 seconds to figure out where it is, to pinpoint exactly how to get around it, you can. You probably can. But that's not how the world works. That's like saying everyone can become a millionaire. Well, people working minimum wage probably aren't gonna become a millionaire, right? So if you're set up for success, sure. But the Mozzie Spider isn't setting up for success. It's a scam. It's gambling, right? The mute jammer, however, is skill dependent. It's understanding how the mechanic works and how to counter it. The Mozzie Spider doesn't have this mechanic. And the biggest issue for this is that mute jammer is a pre-placed device in certain areas, and the Mozzie Spider, just like the Ela trap, is a free throwable device that can stick to any surface. And that's a huge issue. Another one is recoil. For PC specifically, needs to be increased on some guns. And some nerfed, and some reduced, I guess I should say. Issue with Siege is that if you compare Lesion's gun to Bearing 9 to SMG 12, compared to Sledge LED 5, compared to SMG 11, compared to Twitch's gun, compared to Bandit's gun, you get a curve looking like this. Some guns have no recoil. Some guns have a lot of recoil. Some guns can't even be fucking controlled by the best player in the goddamn world whose name is Fabian. It's not possible unless you're a fucking hacker, right? Even hackers can't do it. Where is the median? Where is the average? Where is the line? Where is the averaged out, hard to learn, easy to learn how to master kind of recoil, like the old Buck recoil, the current Twitch recoil, SMG 11? Where is that recoil? Why is 70% of guns a laser, 20% are hard, and 10% are impossible? Why is that a thing? Why don't we have guns that require skill to be used perfectly, and we increase the want for like muzzle brakes and flash hider, and we make the attachments suit the playstyle more of bursting, spraying, and tap firing? Like, give the SMG 11 a muzzle brake. I would love to tap fire with that gun, but with flash hider and compensator, it's impossible. Right? It doesn't work. Why is the recoil patterns changing every 2 months? I don't know. But they are. And it's pissing me the fuck off as a smoke player, because SMG 11 has probably underwent the most recoil changes of any gun in the entire game. Like, I kid you not, that gun changes every season. And it's probably half placebo and half the fire rate. Because when you have a gun with like 1270 fire rate, it will not be a controllable pattern consistently. Because the mind doesn't see in 20,000 FPS, right? The device can only see 23. What the fuck you guys meme about? TLDR, when you shoot with a gun that has a lower fire rate, you can pretty much adjust your recoil bullet for bullet. With a gun like SMG 11, Bearing 9, SMG 12, etc., Twitch's gun, you have so much fire rate that you simply cannot adjust your sense bullet per bullet. You can pretty much just either drag down, let go, go left or go right. You can't make micro adjustments. It's just not possible because you can't control it. It's too fast. So either A, you reduce the fire rate, or 2, you make recoil adapt to the game, because the current recoil is basically just not there. You have Jaeger, you spawn peek across the map, you go zero recoil. Zero recoil whatsoever. In a one-shot headshot game that doesn't have bullet drop, that doesn't have any punishment except for damage drop off, but that's countered by one-shot headshot mechanics, so they can always one-shot across any map, any distance on the map, by any gun, through any wall, right? And the game used to have recoil that was easier to learn. Like, you can shoot like 10 bullets easily, and then like it get hard, like the old bug in year 1. And then if you're really good, you could perfectly control every single part of the spray pattern. Because a pattern is supposed to get gradually harder, you should get rewarded for controlling it longer, right? Just like with sex, if you last longer, you get rewarded as a better lover, right? If you blow your load in 2 seconds like SMG11, you're not gonna get very famous with the ladies. That's just how it is. I'm sorry to break it to you. So you should get rewarded for good performance. And the current recoil pattern of Siege doesn't give you that. Everyone's a fucking 2-second sprayer because there is no recoil. No one's impressive. When I watch a professional player that plays for millions of dollars versus some random ass plat player, it's the same. Except for like SMG11, Twitch's current recoil, and you can clearly tell when people understand the pattern, how to use it, versus when they don't. But just like with sex, there needs to be a comparison between good and bad. I'm not the most experienced guy in bed, right? I'm a gamer. I can fuck you up with my thumbs probably. Like, I can boop you on a controller, I can boop you on a mouse and keyboard. I won't break you in bed. That's just the sad truth, right? Unless you're very easy to break. But I can at least show that in video games I'm good. However, in Siege, I don't feel like I can actually show that I've played the game for 12,000 hours, which is like 8 hours a day for 5 years straight or some shit. Like, it's crazy hours. Like, I played, myself, Maestro, and King George are like tied first place in the world probably of like celebrities or like public figures playing the game. We play so much. Respect to those guys for doing it as well. But I can't tell the difference between them and us and other people that are average, right? So I think that's important that you can look at a player and be like, wow, this guy is really good. The only way to tell with that is like movement and decision making, which, to be fair, that's a great way to indicate skill, but it's an FPS game. It's not a MOBA. It's not League of Legends. It's not Dota. You need to have a clear display of skill from the gun point of view, because that's what the entire game is in its core. It's a pew shooting game, 5 versus 5. Everything else is extra, right? Oh yeah, cosmetics. Client-sided. I mean, firing range, training mode. I mean, that one's obvious. We can go with these as we want. Alibi, good point. Replay system, deathmatch, custom games, question mark. This would probably never happen, but it would be cool if it did. Cosmetics, client-sided. This is the typical Ember Rise issue. Again, it's a consistency issue. Everyone looks different every round. This happens today. I was playing. Let me find a clip for you guys. Again, it's always good with proof because that validates what we're saying is true, and it shows that we are not just talking out of our ass in spite because we're bad, right? We were playing Theme Park earlier, which is a great map in ranked. It's a wonderful map in ranked. I like it in Pro League. And what happened was that I was on attack, I believe, from my memory, and we were attacking Throne Room. Now, I found it. Look at this. I think that's a dock, looking back. I generally just didn't know at the current time what I was looking at. Right? I'm clearing this angle, I'm clearing that angle, clearing this angle. There's like bright yellow lights here, red here, dark there, brown, like gray there. I peek this. Look how he like is. I don't know. It's like he's like shade is really weird. Is it Jaeger? Yeah, I can't even tell now. It's when I pause the center of the screen. But basically, look here. There. What? It looks like he has this like opaque, like mask or shade. Like he has like a vibrancy font. And look at this really bright yellow light at the same time. It's not like he blends in with his actual surroundings, but it's really hard for my eyes in this particular scenario to instantly clear the room with my eyes and then realize it's a player. He doesn't stand out to me at all. He's like glowing yellow, basically. I still, to this day, I don't know who that is. It could be a Tashanga. It could be a Jaeger. It could be a Doc. I think it's a Doc. I think it is, but I don't know. Anyway, I missed my shot. Not a big deal. But the point is, I generally don't know what happened here. And it's an issue that back in year 1, when everyone used default skins, you always knew who was Bandit, who was Doc, who was Smoke, etc. And every single character, every single different rank game, every single different round from different people playing that same character, they looked the same or similar. Nowadays, I need to like go through a catalog of clothes and figure out which operator has the possibility to unlock the skin, what body shape fits them, etc. The only way I know for sure who I'm fighting these days is when I hear their gun shooting. That's terrible. That's terrible. And it's abusable as well because a lot of skins, they blend in with the palette of the map design. Now, if you guys aren't aware, basically what is happening in Siege is you have a color palette of the map, right? And then you have a slightly different, this is not that different. You have a slightly different color for the character uniforms, right? Basically, this should be a red that's a little bit different red, but it's brown. So like, you get the idea, right? And it's really hard to pick out the difference. You have Emberize on Villa. It's literally the same thing front and back, right? If you Google Siege Emberize. All right, guys. Which character is this and where are they? Tell me. Oh, I tweeted about this. Wait, where's the photo? All right, I don't know. Ubisoft. Well, there's a character right here. Right here. This is Zofia. Right? Right here. Can I paint? Can I paint this? Yes. Right here. How the f are you gonna see this in a live game while getting droned, flashbanged, and I can barely see. Like, look at the color palette. They literally Control C, Control V. How can you design a map that has these colors, right? And then make a skin with the same color palette as the fucking uniform? Whoever did this should be fired. Like, straight up, it is ridiculous. What you gotta do is you gotta look at Valorant. They only design above 5 meters, which means that it would only be different above this area. So that the player would never interact with map design unless they were super elevated in the room. Because why is there a random ass wall difference here anyway? For the like, what's the point? Imagine she was on this background. She would still be harder to see because the nature of a camouflage uniform, but at least she wouldn't completely blend in. She would just vaguely blend in. Or if you're playing against a Kite, funny thing, Kite and Nomad came out, right? With the Fortress map. You know what the funny part is? They blend in perfectly on that map. Because the entire map design is the exact same color palette as the operator design. And you can argue it makes sense because that they are from that map or whatever bullshit reason. But how can you, as a visual designer, not realize that the fucking map you're making has the same fucking colors as the character you're making and they're gonna blend in and create an issue for players? It doesn't make any sense, right? I didn't study art school, but I understand the concept very well. And also, remember, gamers use TN panel screens that have really inaccurate color representation. If you are designing a game or a movie, make sure you check how it looks on a TN panel and an IPS panel. And also when you're making music, take your mixtape and smack it on your car radio or your car display, because people aren't gonna play them in a $1 million music studio with perfect sound system. They're gonna play them in the fucking mall, on their phones, in their shitty car from like 1988, right? They're gonna blast them from the TV that has a terrible sound system because they can't afford a nice TV. Like, everything looks and sounds great under the best circumstances. The best example for this is the Game of Thrones, the last season with the fucking fight against the fucking undead piece of shit. People with a regular screen display called it like the black episode because they couldn't see anything. And the fucking Game of Thrones people, they said, oh, we could see everything perfectly on our $1 million display, perfect setup studio. I'm like, of course you can. You're like under the best and ideal circumstances to watch it. I am in the fucking bright daylight, right? Without curtains, trying to watch a goddamn night scene, and there are no fucking lights. How am I supposed to follow the action? You need to test under the worst circumstances, TN panels in video games, and also IPS panels, right? You want to get the entire thing. Again, I feel like this is very obvious and logic. I understand people make mistakes. The issue is we're continuously making these mistakes. It feels like the people that design the maps and design the art for Siege are not communicating with the people that are making the skins. And this is probably very accurate because it's different people, different like groups and entities within the company. It could be third party, people that make these skins but don't even play the game. What do I know? But the point is, if you are making a product, you need to be able to see it through. If I have an editor and my editor uploads a video of me being racist, I'm not gonna be like, I didn't know about it. No, I should know about me. I should know if my editor makes a video that makes me look bad because it's my product. Even if I'm not the one making it, I'm the one putting my name on it. Ubisoft as a company needs to make sure that when they're working with the game, it gotta go all the way around. From production, to map design, to game design, to skin design. Fortnite's doing a great job with that. They're making online virtual music shows for millions, like 12 million people watch the fucking, the guy with the cross rapper. I don't know what his name is because I don't listen to that kind of stuff. It was fucking sick, dude. It was, you know what? It was insane. Travis Scott, that's his name. Exactly, Travis Scott. But we struggle with this. While Fortnite is out there making crazy shit for a fucking child's game that is about building like Minecraft. You know, I envy Fortnite so much. It's such a shit game. But they have what I want. You know what I mean? Like they have the potential. Their engine, it's crazy, but the game sucks, right? That's my opinion. I don't like the game. I like building. I'm not a Minecrafter. I suck at building. We've lost touch between our, people. We really have. We love cool shit. Dude, amen, man. We love cool shit. Travis Scott is cool. Like, I don't listen to Travis Scott. Do you know what I was watching live on YouTube? I was watching Travis Scott fucking Fortnite concert. I don't even know who he is. Like, I know I don't even listen to his stuff. But I watched it with 12 point something other million people because it's fucking cool. But do people want to watch this shit? No, they want to turn that shit off because it's disgusting, man. Like, it just shows that you have a clear lack of touch with your game, right? So that's cool. That's cool, man. Cool slice. All right, fire range and training mode. This is a very current, relevant topic. I'll talk about that as well. Recently, we got the Grand Larceny game mode. And before that, we had the stadium map. First of all, let's just give some proper respect. Let's just give some proper respect where it's due. The goddamn invitationals, the tournament champions, this entire thing is so good. Okay? This is, if you haven't seen this, take off your pants, find the fucking loop, get a blanket, it's gonna get dirty. This shit is amazing. Okay? I saw this live with the fucking Invitationals crowd in the spectator. It was insane. It's so good. Right? I just want to put that out there. I don't want to discredit people, but this is amazing. Keep doing this. Okay. We had the stadium map being built. We had the Grand Larceny. We had the Magnum one-shot deagle. We had the cowboy with the Bus G revolver. We have these arcade minigames that are basically allowing the developers to explore different concepts and game modes and features. And they're possibly, if not most likely, using these arcade modes to gather feedback around these certain things, like the double-sided glass in Stadium, like destroying floor, on the current Grand Larceny, while also milking us dry in alpha packs that we gotta buy for money, which are way overpriced at $75 for their own packs, with some other AAA title game, but that's whatever that is, right? Point is, these these current short-term game modes, arcade games, they last for 2 weeks, right? And they probably get worked upon for months. So they're usually quite good. Custom sound design, custom skins, custom map design, custom lighting, custom filter. Like, it's actually, generally speaking, for the most part, it's really unique and good. But you're making all these small 2 weeks lasting concepts when you're missing a firing range or training mode for 5 years. And this is what I meant when I said earlier. I think we're focusing our resources in the wrong area. I agree. As an investor, as a company owner, I myself am self-employed by my own company. I understand the value of making content. I know that you need to get new people about doing new things. But there's also a part of retaining your current player base as well as speaking to future player bases, and that is having features that are expected of you after 5 years of release. Or in this case of 2020, you're expected to have them on release like Valorant, right? And what I'm referring to is a custom firing range, practice custom games, infinite C4 tosses, where I, as a content creator, as a professional player, as a potential analyst in my future career, I can go in and make great content for you guys. I can go in, I can go bam, 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 10 reinforcements. I can put a bot there, I can put a bot there, I can spawn a shield, I can show the angle, I can show the C4 toss over and over again. I can make great fucking YouTube content. If I want to make a strat right now, I have 2 reinforcements. I have 1 shotgun. I can't teleport. I can't spawn shit. If I want to practice the C4 toss, I gotta throw it. Oh, I missed. Go to the roof, kill myself in game, respawn, drone phase, spawn in, throw the C4, I missed again, go to the roof, kill myself in game, respawn, prep phase, repeat. I can throw 3 C4s in the span of like 5 minutes. Valorant is in closed beta, came out 2020 in that said closed beta, and they have an infinity fucking gadget mode. You can just go boom, boom, boom. You can smack out fucking 20 things a second. You can practice bunny hopping, C4 tossing, pre-placed grenades, practice range, recoil, bots that are moving, that are standing still, that are timed, like the different difficulties that are preset. They have a bunny hop course. The game isn't out yet, goddammit. We have 5 years of competitive integrity and experience, and we ain't got shit to show for it. We got Terrorist Hunt that has a different recoil pattern than the live build because the Terrorist Hunt doesn't get patched. And the bots move like bots. They don't move like players. Right? We don't have infinite ammo. I can't test recoil. The bots ruin everything. They wallbang me. They smoke. They shield. They rappel. Like, they do so much stupid random shit. And we can only do it on like 2 maps. Plane and house. Because everything else sucks. Right? And we are making these 2 weeks arcade games to make some money from the alpha packs, milking the titties again, bringing in new players, getting some articles made, and we get this. What is this stupid shit? PC game review. Siege 10 out of 10. What the fuck is this stupid article? Here's every single game that earned a 10 out of 10 review from GameSpot and how I decided upon these scores. Siege. Alright guys, Siege has scored a 10 out of 10 review as of May 5th, 2020 from GameSpot. Let's see if they actually played the game because they don't play the game that I'm playing. Do you know what game didn't get that? League of Legends, Dota, CSGO, none of those games got a 10 out of 10. They got like 7.5 or 8.5, but Siege, we got a 10 out of 10. We don't have a practice mode. We don't have reticle changes. We don't have colorblind mode. How can you, for any reason, score 10 out of 10 with so many baseline missing features? It's like going to a bakery and there's no fucking bread. You can't do any. It's not good, man. Like, you can buy some fucking scones or some stupid English cookies, what are they called? But you can't buy bread? But it's 10 out of 10? Yeah, 20 out of 10, man. Fuck it. Yo, Ubisoft. Yo, how much money for 10 out of 10? It's bullshit. It's utter bullshit. Right? Who paid them? Because it wasn't me. I would have paid them to do 0 out of 10, to fucking slam the game publicly, because we need some pressure. Right? We do. It's actually pathetic. Now, if Ubisoft didn't pay them, which is possible, they're just clueless idiots. And those people exist. I'm a clueless idiot as well. I, in fact, have no education. I'm actually as dumb as he gets. I just play video games and rant for a living, right? I don't know anything. I don't know everything. I don't know anything at all. The point is, the world is corrupt. And we all know it. We're all aware of it. We watch movies, watch television, right? We have tinfoil hats and we expect things that are crazy to happen, but they don't. Sometimes they do. The reviewer played 850 hours. Yeah. I played for 12,000. I think I have a better explanation of the game that he does. The main issue that I face is I'm very good at the game. No ego involved. I do play it for a living. As I said, I played for 12,000 hours in case you didn't know. 12,000 hours recorded. I still have theory sessions, meetings, practice, like LAN events, different accounts, whatever. Like I probably invested more than 15,000 hours mentally into the game, physically being present, staring at the screen. And that's insane. But I like the game. And you can argue that I love the game. And I know why. I know what to look for when it comes to what works and what doesn't work. I know when the game is screwing me over, and I know when I'm being outplayed. I know when I'm being unlucky. I know when I'm making a mistake. I know a lot of that. And I feel like 2 years ago, I made mistakes a lot, and I could be like, oh, I could have played that differently. But nowadays, it's more like I'm complaining like, oh, I didn't hear that guy. Oh, the C4 didn't make any sound, right? It's more like that happening. And a lot of players who aren't very good, they don't really feel like they're getting punished. They just feel like they're bad at the game. And they're like, oh, I'm bad. It doesn't matter. I'm like stuck in gold, you know. But the thing is, you're not. Right? Some people are. But I believe that every single person playing Siege is looking worse than they actually are because they're not allowed to be playing at their actual potential because the game is holding them back with issues. That's what I generally believe. Because if I'm having these issues, other people are as well. Maybe some not as much. Also, I play the game 12 hours a day. I play more hours every day. I will be exposed to potential issues more than you guys are. But the matter of fact is that if you play 10 games, you can't tell me you didn't face these issues in at least 3 of them. I would say 7, but it seems to be nice here. 3 of them at least. Honest to God. Silent dropping hatches, stuff not making sound, a wall not breaching, whatever the case might be. It happens. Right? And people are being punished, and you go, oh, you know, that's my bad, dude. You know, I got outplayed. But it's not. It's grief and it's saltiness. Oh, the game is fucking me over. I can do better. You know, it's frustrating because you're helpless. You're trying your hardest, and it doesn't matter. Keep that in mind when you play. It's not always your fault. And when I complain about the game, it's not my fault either sometimes. Sometimes it is, but not always. So basically what it comes down to is TLDR. We want long-term versus short-term, right? Short-term 2 weeks game modes versus a long-term training mode that will last for many years you can work upon. Alibi's skin issue. This is very simple. Alibi's clones don't have reticles, scopes, attachments, or skins. Thank you, goody man, for the first Voidboy and Saving League. I saw it. I saw Voidboy with the Saving League thing.
First Voidboy and Saving League, now with you for saving Siege. Actually speaking the truth. Agree with everything. The custom mode actually an amazing idea.
True. Thank you, sir. I saw Voidboy's video. And I saw Double's videos on Power Cube as well. It was really good. The point is, let's say that you open a legendary pack, and a legendary alpha pack, which never happens, and imagine it's not a duplicate. You get a you get a legendary skin for your favorite operator. It's Alibi. And you will instantly punch the desk because your fucking gadget doesn't copy the skin. You buy a $10 skin in the store, and your fucking gadget doesn't copy the skin. So you need to not use it on purpose. You need to specifically buy the skin and not use it, because if you do, you can't do the clone trick, which is why Alibi is so fun to play. You are actually paying money to fuck yourself over. That's ridiculous. You need to play Ironside because Alibi's clone doesn't have a scope? Yeah, what? You gotta play no barrel because it doesn't have a barrel? You gotta not use any skins that you might have bought, been gifted, or earned through an alpha pack because the skin doesn't work on the clone? I'm pretty sure Alibi has a Pro League weapon set. Oh, sorry, skin set. Like an actual Pro League. I'm not sure. I think she does. I could be wrong. Imagine you want to support Pro League. So you buy this skin to support the financial situation of the professional players of this game. She does. She does. And you buy the skin, not because you necessarily want the skin, but because you want to help the people out that play the game for a living, which I really respect. But you can't equip it because your clone doesn't copy it. Imagine sitting there, you know, you're cutting a wood and you just cut through the wood through your fucking hand and you bleed out and you die. That's very sad. Very, really graphic too. That's Alibi skins, man. Let me Google something. Wait, that's, that's the John Wick movie. Oh, June 7th. June 7th? What year, you fucker? 2019, right? Wait, 2018? Holy shit, time flies when you're having fun. Oh yeah, it's been 2 years in June. It's been 2 years. Right? Two. It's been 2 years since Alibi came out and everyone was complaining about her skin and the gut. 2 years. Do you know how many times I've masturbated in 2 years? It's a lot of times. I am so efficient. I get shit done. I get horny. I take care of it. Everyone's happy. It's taken them 2 years to do nothing. They have done nothing in 2 years. That's really hard because you gotta be really fucking lazy or prioritize something very, very low on the list to do nothing about it for 2 years. Right? Imagine going 2 years without doing something that you do as a norm. Drinking a certain drink, going to a certain restaurant, like playing video games, like having fun with friends, going out skiing once a year. Imagine going 2 years without doing any of that. It's hard because you're not doing anything. You're taking no action. Question. Can the Iana clone copy skins? I haven't played Ana. Ana has like one skin, I think, because she's new. Does her clone successfully copy skins? I need chat's knowledge because I don't know. It does? Yes? Yes? I will give Ubisoft this benefit of the doubt. If Alibi doesn't get changed within 3 months to copy skins like Iana is successfully able to do, they have priority problems because this is game breaking. You cannot play this operator with skins on or a scope or in a barrel. That's bullshit. I'll give you 3 months. If this gets fixed, I'll remove this from the list in 3 months. I promise you. But it'll stay. It'll stay. Replay system, guys. This is not a big deal. It really isn't. This is like the top 1% of people. Top 5%. Like content creators, curious people, pro league players, tournaments, and YouTube editors. This affects the skin problem would not be there if there were client-sided skins. True. This is not like a huge issue. Fan giveaway, fan exclusive. But it is something that, again, it's one of those things where you walk into the bakery and there's no bread, right? The game is 5 years old. I know that they've touched upon this, like this set they're working on and it's coming out soon TM. So this issue is not so much of a current issue. It's just kind of to give an overall picture of how long it takes to get done in this game. 5 years and counting, right? Again, 5 years ago, the game didn't need it. 5 years ago, the game wasn't expected to make it. It wasn't supposed to be big. It wasn't supposed to be successful. But the matter of fact is, it seems like we're not working on things until they're an issue. It's like there's a fire in the kitchen. And you think, oh, it'll go out eventually, right? It spreads. All of a sudden, everyone comes screaming and they say, there's a fire, watch out. And you go, you're right, there is a fire. Where's the fire extinguisher? Right? And you fight the fire, but it's fucking huge. You can't fight it alone. You get a fucking helicopter with fucking water with firefighters. That's kind of what Ubisoft is doing here. Like, everyone knows the issue. Everyone is like, everyone knew that a replay system was crucial to the game. Right? Everyone knew it. But somehow it doesn't seem to become a thing until it's really, really urgent. And then they're so far behind because production takes a lot of time. Coding takes time. Implementing takes time. By the time they actually start working on it, it's basically too late. Because the damage is done and like now we just expect it. It's kind of like the story of most things in my experience. Like cheaters. They made a post like last month that they're fighting cheaters. Well, I've waited for 2 years. Where was that post 2 years ago? Right? It's just annoying. Deathmatch, self-explanatory. We wanna pew pew and not always strat. As Jaeger means. Dust from explosions. I mean, this is a great one, dude. If you guys have ever played Border on Ventilation Worship Defense, and you have that light above the blue door that goes towards Grinder, if you throw an impact or a C4 or an Ash Charge or a nade or anything explosive, you create a 5th dimension of fucking dust devils. Because you can't see anything. Like, you literally can't see anything. Now, this is... Some rooms are worse than others. Some maps are worse than others. But holy shit, dude. If you play Border in Worship Defense and anyone does anything that has explosive power, you gotta close your eyes. It's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy. It's such a bullshit thing, man. Yeah, it's kind of bullshit. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of brings me to the next point, which is like sounds on maps, like radios and shit. Chat, just say yes or no. Do you appreciate and like the fact that there are these random ass sound creating things like a helicopter on the map? Do not cross the border with the helicopter. Do not attempt to board the whatever bullshit they say. Like the radio and cafe. Do you guys like that? The spring doors and bank. I see a few yeses, but I see a lot of no's. You know what the funny thing is, chat? You know how they took away the spring doors and bank server after 5 years? You know what they did? They instead added a fucking sound to the tunnel. It's not a dirt tunnel, it's a wind tunnel. Because if you stand next to it, it goes like fucking sound is going through, like fucking wind, man. So they took away the sprinklers and they added a new one next to it. And I'm like, dude, are you fucking stupid? Like, the point was we don't like the ambient noises. Then you add another one by removing the first one. Like, please. If you want to cater to like the realistic scenario, at least give us an option in custom games or a client-sided setting, because it's hurting competitive integrity of the game. And you know what? What new map came out recently? What map is new? My brain is having a very hard time processing this information. What's the newest map in Siege? Does Oregon have a sound? I don't know if I'm getting things mixed up. There is a map. I don't know if it was Hereford in the game mode Grand Larceny, or if it was Oregon, but there's a radio on it that plays music. I know Hereford or Outback has one. Like that's a fucking bar jukebox. But basically, a lot of new maps that are coming out, they have these stupid things that are playing noise. Oh, it's Theme Park. Theme Park has it, yeah. And the worst part is, I feel like I can hear that music further away than people sprinting or crouch walking. I mean, definitely crouch walking. I can hear the stupid ass ambient music, but I can't hear people playing the game. Or like on border with the fucking guy yelling. And I know you can just shoot the speaker and stuff, but like why isn't it just off by default? Or why is there not a setting to remove these things? Client, like if everything's fucking client-sided, why can't the fucking good things be client-sided? You know what I mean? Like skins and sounds and stuff. Why do we have client-sided dead bodies but not client-sided fucking options? All right, another one. Pro mod. This is an official term. Clutter. The best thing about the Ubisoft Stadium map for Oregon, for the Invitationals, the first battle pass, all that stuff. The Stadium map was the first ever map in Siege that had no clutter. No radios, no random monitors, no random debris, no portfolios, no anything. Every single surface was clean and there was nothing else. There was no bullshit. Meanwhile, on border, CCTV/security, you have this long desk that is a very common spot to play behind. And you have like 7 monitors on it. And they destroy into client-sided debris, and you can peek between them when they're not broken. Not only is it unrealistic to have 7 monitors without an actual computer next to them, but also, why? Why are we creating all this clutter that doesn't even make any sense? Why can't we have clean, it's called Pro Mod. That's like Cut for Pro Mod. Where you only have, it's like a minimalistic lifestyle. You only have what you need. You don't have these random lights, random radios, random files in the cabinet. They're like on Clubhouse, right? Let's draw a paint again. If you have white stairs going up, and you got the breach here, right? You got the rotate. On this desk right here, you have a bunch of cash money, $, right? And you have like some calculators or some like money counting machines or whatever. If you don't destroy the money, you can run up onto them and you can put a Maestro cam up on this wall. But if you destroy the money, you can't. Right? If you destroy the money and you destroy the calculators, you can put a shield here. But if you don't destroy them, you cannot put a shield there. Why? Oh, like on border archives bomb site, if you don't break the monitor, you can boost yourself up to what we call heaven. Like the cabinet that leads into office. But if you break the monitor, lo and behold, you cannot go there anymore. And a drone can break it. If you jump into the monitor screen with a drone, you break these things. And it's complete and utter bullshit. Like, either make it a reliable mechanic by just going up there, or don't. We don't want these client-sided weird things that enables us to do stuff if they're there or if they're not there. Because again, it comes down to the same issue. Consistency. The game is so utterly inconsistent. And that's a huge issue. Some default outfits also blend in with maps, Capcan, I mean, they all do. They all do. So I bring back the music, but why can't it turn down the music in the map when I turn it down in the settings? So for people that like it, they can... Yeah, exactly. Something like, we have these options for client-sided sounds, but we don't have them. And the last 15 seconds sound is so ass. Yeah, but you can take that away in the settings. Like, that's actually removable, no? I don't feel like I have that anymore, but maybe I'm just, like, deaf to it. I don't know. But I agree. A lot of issues. So, this game is 5 years old. And these are issues that... It's not things that make the game better. I mean, it is. But to be quite frank with you, these are things that I expect. If I ever were to play a new game, I would expect every single one of these mechanics to be in the game by default. This isn't like, oh, Siege could get 1% better if you remove these. No. This is baseline. This is bottom line. This is what the game should already be like. And then we should work on making it better. Now, I can add probably double to this. Almost. Like, we can go to matchmaking, rank system. Like, we can go into a lot of shit here. TLDR. Sometimes less is more. And I think Ubisoft could learn from that. I would love to assist Ubisoft. I would love to give feedback. I would love to help out. I would love to share my opinion. I would love to beta test. I would love to give feedback. I really want to do these things, even though my relationship with the devs are probably long gone and shattered at this point. And the issue is that we come from a very damaged background. Like, the pros hate the devs hate the pros, the casuals hate the pros because the casuals think the pros control the game, which we don't at all. And if you look at it, it does appear that the pros are always unhappy with what Ubisoft does. And I agree that if you look at it rationally, that's bullshit. Like, how can we always be unhappy? And as I said before, we don't voice our opinion when we agree. That's not normal. It's very uncommon for people to go, I agree, this is good. As I said, I give credit where it's due. I tweet about it. But you won't see me praise every single thing that's good because I expect them to be good. But you will see me tweet about things that aren't up to my standards, in my opinion. With a lot of negative things, it does seem like a lot of pros are complaining. But the matter of fact is that we don't dislike change. We don't dislike Ubisoft doing stuff. We just dislike what they're doing and how they're doing it and how they're not communicating with us. They have a direct loop of loyal fans, pros, content creators, Reddit, Twitter, like normal human beings that play the game for fun. They have a lot of people they can seek towards for help and feedback. And the only thing we have is like test server, which no one plays because Ubisoft is failing to implement it, so that is rewarding. Like, why would you ever want to play test server unless you're a pro player? You don't care about... I mean, maybe you want to try the new operator, but after 5 games, it's not fun anymore. No one plays rank, so you can't play that. And every single game you play on the test server just means less experience and renown and progression on your main account. What if you unlock a real nice skin in an alpha pack on test server? Well, you won't have that on your main account. You'll feel cheated out on the unlock your favorite skin ever that you won't ever have on the wrong account. So Ubisoft is shooting themselves in the foot, giving us no reason essentially to play test server for a normal human being. I play it because I want to learn the new operators because I'm a pro player, that's it. And the other thing is, the way that we need to give feedback back is via www.rfixpro.com or r6fix.com, whatever the fuck it's called. And I don't want to get too much into it, but TLDR, the website is so fucking bad. It works slow. It's buggy. It takes about 20 minutes to do a single bug. And it's so much work and effort for me. I already play the game 12 hours a day. And I need to spend an hour every single day doing bug reports for a game that I play because I want to, not because I have to. That is not my job. I don't get paid shit. I don't get rewarded for that. It's their job to fix their fucking game and to bug test it, not fucking me. I play the test server and I give feedback. They ignore the feedback and they release it anyway. Like, I told them that, oh, guys, this bug is happening in the test server. And they go, we know, let's ship it anyway. And then it goes to live server. Everyone loses their fucking minds. And then it takes like a month before it gets fixed. And we could have avoided that in the first place. Everything is broken. Literally everything is broken, right? The way that we give feedback, how it's perceived, how it's looked at. Currently in Pro League, we have a 3-month quarantine period. So basically, when Goyo comes out, he will not be in Pro League for 3 months, but he will be in Ranked. And basically, the reason why they did that was because of Lion. They released Lion straight into Pro League. He broke the entire game. And they did this really smart decision that all the future operators will be quarantined for 3 months to be evaluated. All right, let's make a short list, right? It's like the pandemic, we're quarantining. How many operators have gone through the quarantine? Tide, Goyo, Wamai, Kali, Amaru, Nook, Mozzie, Gridlock, Nomad, Warden. I think that's it. Maverick. Oh, thank you, dude. Thank you, Tops. Thank you, sir, for the 20 fat sub gifts. Enjoy, chat. Let's start with these. Are people saying Clash? All right, let's start with these. Right? How many of these operators were overpowered or really strong on release? Strong / OP. Right? Goyo. Wamai. Mozzie. Nomad. I don't want to say Clash and Maverick, but they were very strong. Right? They were very, very strong. Kite as well. Oh, dude, Kite as well. Kite was fucking broken. Like, so basically, I remember Kite had like 3 claws, and if you electrified barbed wire and you punched the barbed wire, you took like 20 damage. So to kill 1 barbed wire, you would take 40 damage, and you had to nade it or basically punch it and die. I remember that. Oh, Maverick was silent. Holy shit, you're wrong. You're right. Maverick was fucking broken. You're right. Holy shit, I forgot that Maverick was silent somehow. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2. Oh, my voice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? Quick maths. How many of them were overpowered or strong after a 3 months grace period? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5. How many were extremely underwhelming? Not just a little bit, but like you don't even want to play them if you're a paid actor. We have Amaru, Nook. I want to say Gridlock just because she's a very boring operator, but she wasn't weak. She just was like whatever. Let's just put her in neutral actually. Whatever. Warden, right? And then we have like boring. We'll just put Gridlock. she's alone. She's alone. I think Kali's just boring. I don't think she's extremely underwhelming. It's just our sniper. Like having a sniper in a one-shot headshot game doesn't work. I wouldn't say that she's underpowered. So let's go through this real quick, chat. Goyo came out extremely strong. It took them 6 months to fix. They have a 3 months quarantine time. They didn't change Goyo in a single way. From beginning to end of quarantine, they did nothing. Kai, they changed. I think they changed Kai before the quarantine ended, but I believe they did. Wamai, they haven't changed anything with, and he's very strong. Mozzie, as you know, got nerfed recently, so he went through quarantine without a nerf. Nomad, she got multiple nerfs, like during the quarantine, after quarantine, like she was kind of like in the middle ground. Maverick, he made out of quarantine, like he was broken for a long ass time. Clash wasn't like broken, she was just annoying, so that's like whatever. That's why I count her as a half. How is Wamai good? Jaeger is better? Yeah, you don't know much about this game. It's okay. Phantom, Wamai is better than Jaeger. It's that simple. I'll explain it to you in a different day. Bottom line is, people think Wamai is bad. In fact, he's very fucking strong. It's okay that you don't know about it. I know about it. That's all that matters right now. And I'll tell you all about it a different night. But tonight is not that night. Amaru is a... So I've done this comparison before. I want you guys to close your eyes. Which game has the best grappling hook mechanic that comes to your mind? Go. I'll write down my answer. Best grappling hook mechanic in any game. Yeah, me too. Apex. Titanfall / Apex Legends has, in my opinion, the best Pathfinder grappling hook experience of current video game scenario. Probably of all time. Titanfall / Apex Legends, right? Which game has the worst? Is it a 2001 PS1 / PS2 Tomb Raider game? Or is it B, Amaru from Rainbow Six Siege released in 2019? It's Amaru. It's so bad, dude. Like, holy shit, man. Like, oh my god. All right, so let me explain why it's bad. There are a couple issues. One, when you Amaru a window, right? You break the window instantly. So if the window is all the way over there, and I go pew, the window breaks. I'm still standing, and then I go wee, right? I'm basically telling my opponents which window I'm coming from, and I'm giving them like a 3-second heads up. Like, hey guys, I'm gonna come in this window real fast. You ready? Wee! Right, I'm dead. Right, that's why she sucks, number one. Number two, when you come in, it's like a 2001 game where they animated it without eyes. Because when you go in, you fly in the air, then you stand still, then you fall because the game doesn't allow you to be elevated. So like you have this like glitch, like, then you stand still, you can't move. Then you're like, and then you can put out your gun, and then you can move, then you can ADS. It's like a 7 transition motion made by a toddler, right? It's not like this clean one movement kind of thing with like Apex Legends where you grapple who you go, you land, you shoot. Like, no. It's like, it's so rigid. It's right? It's really bad. Like, embarrassingly bad. And that's just the engine. It's like Assassin's Creed engine. Like, what do you expect? But like, it's really bad. Really bad. It's actually embarrassing. So that's Amaru, right? That's Amaru. Then you have Nook. What is the... really quickly, chat. I have a question. I want to see if you guys can pass the test of time. What do these characters have in common? Remember, they're extremely underwhelming. What do these 3 characters have in common? You have 10 seconds. You all got it. They have recycled guns. You all said it. You literally all said it. They all have recycled, boring ass, stupid ass, lazy ass, reused guns. And they gave them the most boring ones. MPX and fucking FMG. Okay, L8 on Amaru, kind of spicy. But you know how Zofia is like the most picked operator in Pro League right now, pretty much? Just imagine if Zofia had a UMP or an FMG or MPX, right? Imagine Zofia. Would you play Zofia a lot if she had fucking FMG? No. No, you get in the bin. That's what you do. You put her in the bin, right? Even though she's like... think about it, chat. It's an FPS game. When a new operator comes out, they have a new gadget. That's cool. And sometimes it interacts with the environment, sometimes with the players, sometimes it buffs yourself. But to be completely honest with you, one of the most exciting things for me was the weapon. You know when you played Mozzie the first time with the commando and you did that reload, like like the very unique, only that gun has it? Or the first time you played Mozzie P26 Ronin and it has that unique holographic scope? Fuck yes. Or P10? Fuck yes. Right? Fuck yes. When you play Zofia, you got this closest to an AK, besides use AK looking gun, has a very satisfying look, very satisfying skins, very nice reload animation. It works, it flows, it works really well. Maverick, when he came out, all the fraggers went to play Maverick because they love the gun. It's an M4, right? It looks great, sounds great. It has a reload bug. That's all. Like, Fuse's gun and Maverick's gun still have a reload bug after so many years or so much time. That's a different side topic anyway. Reload bug on certain weapons, Fuse, AK, and Maverick M4. But yeah, when a new operator comes out, when a new character comes out, the majority of the excitement for me is actually the features of the character. Like the weapons, the sounds, the looks, the visuals, like everything. Like the gadget is, at max, it's half the excitement. The other half is the weapon. And when you make an underwhelming character like Nook, who's basically carry on attack, kind of, or Amaru, or Warden, but you give them a reused, in fact, you only give them multiple reused weapons, it's not new. It's just a skin on a different gadget, right? And the gadgets themselves are also kind of underwhelming. They're useful situationally, but in the end, it doesn't matter because you're still using an MPX. There's also another thing, and this is a competitive integrity. If they have a Warden or a Valkyrie, you won't know the difference. You hear an MPX shoot in prep phase, you should always say, guys, they have a Valkyrie. Because it's extremely important to know these things, right? Imagine they gave, imagine they gave Goyo Capcan's weapon. Every single time you would hear a fucking Goyo shoot who's played every round, you're like, oh, they might have a Capcan. And you need to think they have a Capcan because you can't die to a trap because it's bad for your team. And again, Valkyrie is extremely important, right? And again, if Goyo had Capcan's weapon, that would be super important. Warden isn't played almost ever, so it hasn't really impacted us all that much. But the potential is there. When they buffed Ying, we already saw a spike in Warden play. And if anyone ever picks Ying, you will naturally 6-pick Warden because that's the only counter. So the thing is, reusing weapons is not only boring for new releases purposes, but it's also extremely bad for competitive integrity because we can no longer distinguish the sounds between the gadgets. It's the same with Kite and Goyo back when the TCSG 12 wasn't nerfed. Everyone played the shotgun, the TCSG fucking of Doom. And whether they had a Kite or a Goyo is important because if they're a Kite, you want to EMP before you breach, or as you breach. And if they're Goyo, you want to save your EMPs to kill ADSs and kill shields. And whenever you heard that thing go boom, boom, you wouldn't know whether it was a Kite or a Goyo. And it had a huge impact on your performance and your decision making. And again, they're taking away your senses. Again, it comes down to this consistency, right? Every single of these topics, they all join the same conclusion: consistency and reliability. If you can't trust what you hear, are you making a good game? If you can't trust what you see, are you doing it correctly, right? It all boils down to the same few elements. What about Rook and Dog? Even in vanilla, they had a similar MP5. Well, so there are a few things that doesn't relate. Rook and Dog, it doesn't matter. You know for a fact they have a Rook or a Dog. The only thing that's annoying is if they have both. Because you hear one guy shoot, and then you're like, oh, Dog is over there, but I just thrown him here. But then it's like, oh, it's a Rook, like the same weapon. But Dog's gadget and Rook's gadget is basically the same thing interaction-wise. And to be honest, they don't define the game. They don't change the game. They're not super important. Your decision-making around the map doesn't change based on Rook and Dog. They don't, because they don't engage with the terrain or with the characters of the enemies. They interact with themselves and other teammates. Castle Pulse is the same thing, because you'll always physically see a castle barricade. You know very early on the round if they have like Clubhouse Gym defense. If Gym window is castle, they have a castle. When you hear UMP, that's a castle. And if there is no fucking castle barricades, it's a pulse. Also, pulse can only be played on very specific bomb sites that allows for verticality. Same for castle. Castle is only played in very specific bomb sites because of how its gadget enables the map to be played. It's not a big deal. And if you hear UMP, you'll always, as a pro player, say they have a pulse or a castle, and you'll always be like, they have a pulse. And then when you join, you're like, oh, JK, it's a castle. Not a big deal, because a castle is no threat. The pulse, however, is. You always prepare for the worst, but you can deal with the best, right? So that's not a big deal. The biggest issue is like the Warden and the Valkyrie. It is the Goyo and the Kite. Not so much anymore, but now it's like Mira and Goyo. But again, you see mirror windows, so it's not a big deal. Isn't G11, again, mute and smoke? I mean, you know if they have a mute jammer. Like, you know for a fact because you can't join anything. So you know they have a mute, so you know for a fact. The only thing with mute and smoke is that it can be hard to tell visually which one is which because they have the exact same weapons and they look the exact same almost. Unless you're using like a skin on it. Like if you're using certain skins, they look the same. If you use like default skins or elite skins, they look very different, of course. Capcan to Shanga, same thing. It's not a big deal. You always expect it's a Capcan. If you see a fucking turret with a face shield, it's a Shanga, you know what I mean? So it's not that big of a deal, really. Like IQ and Thermite, I think is the biggest issue. IQ and Thermite, they do have a different sound, but it's extremely similar. Like, even today when I was playing ranked, I said last guys and IQ, or I said Thermite, but it was the opposite. because the commando on IQ. The commando on IQ sounds very similar to the Thermite's 556. Thankfully, most people use the LMG on IQ these days, so you don't really have that issue. But you also don't know if it's an Amaru on IQ, right? Again, not a big deal because Amaru is shit and everyone plays IQ. You always expect it's an IQ. But Amaru and IQ all both use the L8 LMG. So, Thatcher and Sledge. Well, to be fair with you, AR-33 is better than 85, so most Thatcher players, or like some Thatcher players, use AR-33. But I do agree that Sledge and Thatcher, they are an issue because, again, nades versus no nades, especially now that Buck is gone. But usually, again, they will use an EMP very, very early in the round. If you're playing Clubhouse, if you're playing Consulate, because the EMPs are typically used in the very first stage of the attack, and you don't bring Thatcher to a roam clear map, but if you do, you don't care whether it's Thatcher or Thatcher. So it's like, usually more often than not, like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times, you know if it's a Thatcher or not, because he will be using his first EMP very early on to deny your shit, right? Mutant Wamai, well, you don't use MP5 on Wamai, you use the Orc because it's like vastly better for most people. Again, mute jammers. Also, no one uses MP5 on mute. Like, no, I use shotgun and SMG11. So again, it doesn't matter. I haven't seen MP5 in years. Unless you're memeing. Also, again, with the mute, you will know for a fact if they have a mute because you will run into mute drones eventually very early in the round because there's 4 of them. They have big range and they're usually in high traffic areas. So you will know for a fact whether they have Wamai as a mute. Also, Wamai's gadget makes a sound cue upon activation and upon tossing it. So there's also that. So again, valid points, but again, not a huge issue. But as you can tell, the more operators that come out that have reused guns, for example, G36C on Iana and Ash is a huge deal breaker. Ash has flashbangs and Ash charge. Iana has frag grenades. If let's say you're playing on a shield behind the half on border, I think it's a good example. If you hear G36C, you now need to make a decision. Okay, are they playing Iana and will I get naded? Because that has no warning. Like, if they cook nade and throw it, you die. Like, there's no warning whatsoever. But if they Ash charge you, you have about a 2-second time gap. It goes and then and you can act accordingly. It gives you a warning, like Amaru does. But when you just hear the gun shoot and you don't hear the gadget from either character just yet, just the weapon, you need to make a decision on a 50-50 gamble. Right? Because it could be either or, it's an equal chance, 50-50, whatever. Obviously, you can argue that Ash is played significantly more than Iana, at least in the current state of the game. But what if there's a meta where Iana is played more than Ash? Every single time you hear a G36C, you need to doubt yourself, and you need to gamble, or you need to have reliable information on a camera that it is indeed an Ash or an Iana. These are the issues. They could play both for all you fucking know. You don't fucking know shit, right? These are the competitive integrity issues that you're running into by reusing weapons. Question, why don't we reuse the weapons that aren't played? Like, Caveira's gun is kind of shitty because if they have a Caveira, you want to know it, right? But like, you use shotgun on Caveira most likely. But like, Fuse AK, no one plays Fuse. His gun is insanely good. No one has it, right? Clash's SMG could be valid. I mean, you'll hear her stumble around, but her SMG is not your operator. Like, there's so many things where it's like, you could change them very easily and it wouldn't impact the game at all. Fuse AK is coming next season. No, I know, but again, it's just a reused weapon. I'm just saying, why are we giving like G36C and FMG and MPX away when we have all these weapons that have huge potential but are on a bad operator like Fuse? You know, why does Jackal have 2 guns? That's not fair. Why does Mozzie have 2 guns? Think about it. If Mozzie only had 1 gun, you could give Amaru a unique gun. If Jackal only had 1 gun, you could give Nuke a unique gun. If Ash only had 1 gun, you could give Ian a unique gun. If these operators that have, like, if LMG, or if fucking Finger only had 1 gun, another, like, we can literally fix 5 of the characters that have used weapons by simply taking away a weapon from someone that has 2 of them. IQ has 3 weapons. They're all really good. She has 3 weapons. But 1 gun is vastly superior because it's an LMG angle grip, no recoil, ACOG scope. Like, it has everything, right? Needs to get nerfed, by the way. That's poor game design, like weapon balancing. No one has 2 guns. Everyone uses one of them. Like, there are so many ways. Zofia has an LMG. There are so many characters that have multiple weapons, but 90% of people use the same one because it's vastly better. It's more favored. And then we have all these new characters that have reused weapons from other very popular characters, maybe besides FMG. We could solve these issues. It's like we want to end hunger and we have this massive stash of food, but we don't want to do it because reasons? You know what I mean? Like, we could take away Jackal PDW, give it to fucking Warden, dude. Make Warden go pa 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 pa. Probably a bad idea on Warden, but you get my idea. We could do so much with so little. Instead, we gave some characters 3 weapon skins, only to fuck up 4 years later and have reused weapon skins for all future content because we ran out of licenses. What the fuck they said? That's really tough, man. That's really tough. Because it's really holding the game back. Like, there are so many weapons you could take. MP5 on Mute. Mute doesn't need it. I mean, why has it now, but why doesn't need it either. You could just have the AUG. Like, if you really wanted to, you could make these changes. If you really wanted to. What it comes down to is Siege. This is what I've been knowing for a fact. Siege is Ubisoft's single-handed biggest revenue bringing game. It has been for the last 5 years, probably not maybe at the beginning. It's the only game of Ubisoft's games ever, to my knowledge, that has stayed relevant for 5 years and actually has continuous growth. Because most games Ubisoft make, they thrive for a little bit and they fall off. For Honor is a good example. Obviously, single-player games like Assassin's Creed, they only have a very limited lifespan. Siege is Ubisoft's flagship. It's their holy grail. It is quite literally the reason why they're making money. If they are making money. It's almost like it's their most precious piece of jewelry that they only wear to special occasions. Except they don't. What they do is that they've left their piece of jewelry in the mud, in the rain, in the dirt, and it's getting rusty, it's getting damaged, it's getting dented, it's getting messed up quite literally. And this very beautiful piece of jewelry that has so much potential to shine if polished correctly and taken care of is wasted. Because when you look at it, Siege isn't a tier 1 game with tier 1 support, but if you look at it financially and from a business perspective, Siege is their single-handed best performing game ever of Ubisoft to my knowledge. I can't think of a game that's outdone it in a single game over 5 years. I can't. But it's not treated as if. I want the game to succeed. Like, think about it. The better the game gets, the more money I'll make, the happier I'll be, the bigger my growth will be. You can think of so many egotistical, selfish reasons. But to be quite honest with you, the main reasons why I want the game to be better is because I want to not be bothered by playing it. I want to wake up with passion, with motivation, with fire. I don't wake up and be like, I want to wake up at 9 a.m. so I can grind early. Nowadays, I wake up and I'm like, what's the time? Oh, it's 10 a.m. I can sleep for 2 more hours. It's not like I want to play Siege anyway. And I play the game for a living. It literally pays my bills. It's the reason why I can afford the things that I have. It's why you guys, like, via you guys are streaming. Like, everyone would benefit if the game got better. Especially people that make a living from the game because we're happier playing it. But also the people that play for fun, they would have more fun playing it. And the game would get recognized on a higher scale as well. And I don't know if I only feel this way because I'm heavily invested and I feel like I know a lot about the game because, like, I've played it for so much. Because if you look at, like, League of Legends pros or Siege pros, or like, sorry, CSGO pros, they disagree with some decisions that the companies make that they work for, Valve and Riot. But I generally do think that Siege is going wrong in so many other ways. Like, you can say League has some bad balancing, but fuck me, are their skins good. Fortnite has bloom effect and building and it's like toddlers play it, but their skins are insane. Their events are incredible. Like, they're doing some solid fucking stuff. But I don't think anyone looks at Siege and goes, I wish we could copy that. I do think that Siege has a lot of things correctly. I think Siege is very unique and it's thriving off that uniqueness. But I don't think anyone is like, oh, I wish I had done that. I wish we could do that. Because Siege isn't unique in any way. except for the gameplay. Like, it's not like we have particularly good skins. We don't have particularly good maps. We don't have good content. We don't have fast content. We don't have bug fixes. We don't really excel in anything except that we have a unique product. We have something that no one else has, but we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to treat it, so to speak. Siege has no competition. Every single FPS game is an indirect competition with Siege. That's true, right? It's true. But at the same time, no game will ever kill Siege except for Siege because there's no direct competition. You know, there's not CSGO versus Valorant. There's not Overwatch versus Team Fortress. There's not Dota versus League of Legends. No, Siege is Siege, and then there's other FPS games. Siege will die by its own hand, if anything. And that's arguably worse than dying to a competitor that just did it better. I want to give you guys a good example, okay? I'll lay it out for you right here. This is the last thing I want to say before I want to go to bed, because it's very late and I got scrims tomorrow. I don't know who this is, but it's a YouTuber. Hopefully he doesn't copyright strike my channel, because I don't know who he is, but I just want to use his content for a scientific reason. I want you guys to go back in time to November of 2019. It's the Casa de Papel. Now, this was a collaboration with Netflix. That's pretty fucking cool. I know that the game where you you can repair some fucking things and there's a bad guy that haunts you. I don't know what the fuck the game is called. They also did a Netflix collaboration with Stranger Things, and they did a really good job from what I saw. I just want to point out that this was probably potentially a multi-million-dollar deal, or multiple hundreds of $1,000s deal, right? And I just want to point out that the only thing that this was, so what it was it's a money heist TV show. So they go onto bank, and on bank there's a hostage, and they're dressed up as these in-game from the TV show, whatever the fuck that is, right? And every single character, sorry, not every single character, only certain characters have the skin, like Hibana, for example. I think it was only Hibana and Vigil, like in the video, right? And it's casual. It's 4 minutes. It's not unique spawn peaks. The bomb sites aren't locked. Like, it's the most casual. It's hostage. Like, it's literally like someone did this overnight and then didn't know what settings to use, because there was nothing different about it except for the skin. That was it. That was literally it. Recently, and you can argue this isn't a fair comparison because this is a 2019 event and what I'm looking at now is a 2020 event. But guys, Travis Scott live concert in Fortnite. Are you serious? Custom skin based off the album cover? If we compare this shit, dude, like, I want to play Fortnite now. It's a free-to-play game. It doesn't cost money. You can download it on your mom's fucking laptop and play on it. It's that simple. Like, holy fucking shit, is that amazing? That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Right? It's insane. It's not a fair comparison by any means, but it's the comparison that we need. The customized, like, Fortnite skin department is making billions. It's a free-to-play game that is revenuing billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in raw, and it's advertised for children. Does children have money? No, they don't. Does adults play the game? Of course they do. But the bottom line of the matter of fact is that the main audience of the game can't even buy skins because they don't have any money. They don't have a credit card. I wouldn't buy a single Siege skin with my own money if it wasn't very specific skins. Now, some legendary alpha pack skins I actually would buy. They look fucking sick. To buy 31 packs, aka the entire content of random gambling boxes from a specific 2-week event. So not only do they tempt you with a limited time, only 2-week sale. If you don't buy them in these 2 weeks, you will never see them again. You're having FOMO, fear of missing out, because limited edition, right? It's basically a scam to a degree, right? It's smart. But the thing is, they cost $75 to buy all of the skins. Do you guys know how much a AAA title costs on release date? It's $60. You are paying more money for a alpha pack random generated skin in a gambling box than for a AAA title that could bring you hundreds of hours of, if not thousands of hours of entertainment. $75. It's more than the entire game. When it came out 5 years ago, it's more than any AAA title game in the world on their base collection. Those skins cost more than games do. My merch is cheaper. You can buy a Pengu limited edition hoodie, including shipping, for $55 if you're in America. $55 for a hoodie that you can wash and wear for multiple years on end. It'll keep you warm. You won't die of freezing. That's a life essential survival guide right there. Right? Or you can buy the skins. Last thing. People flying through windows when they rappel in has been the game for multiple months now, and it's fucking game breaking, and it's fucking ridiculous. That shit should have been hotfixed in a week, if you ask me. But whatever. Whatever, man. We're used to it. Alright, chat. If I don't stream in the future, it's because I got banned by Ubisoft because they're unhappy with what I said. I want to point out, full transparency, was this over-exaggerated and a little bit memey for entertainment purposes so they wouldn't get bored halfway through? A little bit. Did I have fun doing this? Yes. I didn't have fun trashing the game because it's a game that I love, but I had fun talking with people about it. And I basically had a pep talk for 2.5 hours. Like, literally, we spoke for 2.5 hours straight, and my voice is literally dead. Like, my voice is dying. And I feel like I ventilated a lot of anger and frustration that I've built up for a long time, that I kind of like walk around with like a burden. So I'm glad we got it out there. But the thing is, I'm not against Ubisoft by any means. By any means. I'm all for it. And I want to make the game better. It is during those times where I wish I could just shut up, take the money, and just do good. But I just don't work that way. I really don't. I get really personally invested, emotional, and involved. And I always speak up my mind because that's how I was raised. Even when it doesn't necessarily benefit me, I still do it because it's the right thing to do sometimes. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for chilling out. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow in the section.